have just recently completed my foundation Vedanta, and now I have registered myself for advanced Vedanta. And last Sunday, at the time of convocation, you had suggested that we leave this T20 day, as well as you had also suggested that we would build after building up this foundation. Now we should go for first and second floor and the penthouse, that is Upanishads. Yeah, and as well as T20, of course, you had suggested that we should for 20 minutes read the scriptures and 20 minutes exercise and so on. As well as Jagat Guru in Moha Mudgara also, he has suggested we should keep inquiring. And Puja Gurudev in Foundation Vedanta Diction section also, he has asked us to constantly reflect upon whatever we learn. So I've been doing all these things since the day we have started with Foundation Vedanta. And I just wanted to know that how will I come to know how much progress I have made, and if I have made some progress, then how far I have reached is my question.
Nice. Okay, so Gurudev used to give these 3 pointers as the measuring criteria to know how much have I progressed. Clarity in thinking, purity in feeling, dexterity in acting. So compared to my earlier situations, let us say 1 year back or 2 years back, whatever it may be, the time span you want to choose, what is the clarity I have about myself, about the world, about the scriptural knowledge, about the goal of life? How clear I am about the goal? How clear am I about my temperament, my attachments, my weaknesses, my strengths, and what are the things that are distracting to me, tempting to me? So how much introspection have I done on that, and how much am I very clear, okay, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, and I know how to strengthen my strengths, I know how to weaken my weakness, because that's what the scripture tells us. So I know about myself, I know about the goal of life, I know how to proceed ahead. At least intellectual clarity must come first. Which is the path I have to take, I am clear about that. So as far as clarity is concerned, we generally define it in terms of these 4. Role clarity, soul clarity, goal clarity, moral clarity, these 4 aspects. So am I clear about the roles? Arjun got confused about roles in life. So he mixed up these roles. He was a soldier, but he suddenly started looking at situation as a relative. Same way, I may have different roles in life. Do I have role clarity? And do I know the boundaries in each role? That is important. Because sometimes, and those boundaries keep changing as per time, as per the changing circumstances. We evolve, the other person evolves. So the boundaries also keep changing. So how clear am I? And this is an evolving process. So clarity also is an evolving process. So as I reflect, I become more and more clearer about my roles in life and prioritization of the roles, which role should take front seat in which stage of life. That is all role clarity. Then comes goal clarity. What is my goal? Goal in life, goal of life, immediate goal, short-term goal, long-term goal, life goal. Clarity about that. Role clarity, goal clarity, moral clarity. What is right and what is wrong? Do I have clarity about that? Because especially in today's world, though, is very confusing. What is right is presented as wrong, what is wrong is presented as right, and then everybody says it's all relative, there's nothing called right and wrong. Full hodgepodge we have made of the whole thing. The point of studying the Shastra is to know clearly ki what is right and what is wrong. In the 16th chapter, Bhagavan says that Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau. What should be done, what should not be done, what is the Praman? Just some books we read of some, in the education we read and study some subjects, or some people, who are popular, who are celebrities, who are some motivational speakers. We listen to them and then we decide right and wrong. Who decides what is right and wrong? One time-tested source of knowledge is the Shastra. So role clarity, goal clarity, moral clarity, ki what is right, what is wrong, and where am I going right and wrong. One is to know right and wrong, but other is to acknowledge that, okay, I am doing this wrong, and then to change that. Then comes the soul clarity, last one, that who am I truly? I may study Vedanta, I may know that I am Sachidanand, but I still feel I am the body. So what are the things that will help me to reduce the body identification, increase my surrender, increase my steadiness in contemplation? So that is the first part of spiritual progress, is the how much clarity have I gained. And clarity, as I said in the earlier question also, it is to change my thought process. And with my thought process changing, my attitude has to change. It will change. If my thought process has not changed, it is only information. It is not conviction. The purpose of study and reflection is it must give conviction that this is the right knowledge. And I am convinced by it and I am going to live it. Because we don't live by our knowledge. We live only by our conviction. Knowledge everybody has. Anger is bad. How many are able to live? Their conviction is anger is necessary to get things done. Many people know alcohol is not good. It reduces the gray cells in the brain. How many are living that? They drink alcohol. The doctor who is saying that only will be drinking alcohol. And they'll justify it also. In little quantity, it is all right. Red wine is very good for the heart. There are 20 other things good for the heart. Why don't you do that? Why do you need to drink red wine only for that heart? But no, they will drink. So we don't live by knowledge, we live by conviction. So the job of reflection is to transform my knowledge into my conviction. Then I have progressed. If yesterday I was convinced that I must live in a certain way, today I am convinced that no, that is not appropriate to achieve my goals. I must drop that. Then I have progressed. That is clarity. Clarity should bring that. And that knowledge by itself will not do that. We have to reflect, make it my conviction and make it applicable. That is our Purusharth. Then purity in feeling. How much bhakti has risen in my heart? Am I able to connect to the higher at the altar of which I surrender? One may say, no, I don't believe in form and this and that. I believe in nature, or I believe in social service and all that, which is fine in the beginning. But the point is what makes the bhavana rise. The bhakti bhav has to rise, where I can lose myself in that bhakti. Then that purity of heart has come, the devotion has made me surrender. Otherwise, I can keep focusing on the breathing. If I have to attain concentration of the mind, I can focus on the breathing. I can look at the tip of a candle. I can stare at a blank wall. I can look at a dot. I can develop concentration through that also. But Chitta Shuddhi is more important in Vedanta than Chitta Ekagrata. So Gurudev said the second point is purity in feeling. That how much I feel connected to the divine, and because of that, I see that the divine in the altar is the same one who is pervading everywhere. So do I feel for the suffering of people? Do I feel that I must do something? Do I feel that in every transaction of mine, let me be selfless? Then that is purity. Selfishness replaced by selflessness. That selflessness itself is great sense of joy. Last is dexterity. How much am I dexterous in the physical level at action level? Am I prompt? Am I quick? Am I free from laziness, lethargy, procrastination? Do I do things in a smart way, or do I drag them? Do I, procrastinate? Then I say, no, not now, later. And I know what is the right thing to be done, but I don't do it. Then those things are being tamasic. So yoga karmasu kaushalam. The dexterity in action is called yoga. So in these three levels, if I evaluate myself, then I will know how much progress I have made at the intellectual level, mind level, and physically at the body level. There's a broad criteria how to go through, how to evaluate one's spiritual progress. And at ego level, Did my ego reduce or not? Do I feel more self-importance? I should be recognized, I should be glorified, I should be praised. If one recognizes as Vedantin, one studies Vedanta and says this whole thing is an illusion, then what does it matter? Somebody praises me, somebody criticizes me. Functionally, I have to do some duties, I will keep doing, but internally, nothing. Self-importance, you don't bother to respect me, I don't care. You kick me, I don't care. One comes to that level because one is absorbed in the thought of the higher. Then that is real spiritual progress. If one has not come to that level, at least it has started making a difference to me, that I don't get affected as before. Earlier, petty things used to disturb me. Now, those things don't disturb me at all. So I am much more in equanimity. I am much more in balance. So these are all different signs of spiritual progress.
But Swamiji, then we will come to know about our progress as a result of following all these clarities and purification.
Definitely.
It's we can't see anything actually, and we just to keep on doing all these things, and then sometimes I get this feeling that whether I'm going on the right path, who am I to decide? I mean, again, I would be deciding that my ego would be deciding these things, whether I am on the right path or not. So that's the thing which is making me, I mean, creating this confusion within me. So
see, first and foremost, it is only an idea. It is not completely true that I don't see anything. Spiritual progress is most visible. It is just that we have to pay attention to it, that's all. Every spiritual progress at all the levels, clarity, purity and dexterity, it will be visible straight away. Especially when it's done with full alertness and awareness, I will know what the difference. As I said earlier, if earlier I was getting affected, today I don't get affected. If earlier, I was giving into some temptations, today I feel more stronger. So that is visible to us. Yeah. And deciding by the ego, so it is not that ego is deciding, it is a certain, what Gurudev used to call it as a higher intellect and the lower mind. So it is a higher intellect which has got the knowledge, which is evaluating whether the person is walking on the path of the scriptures as guided by the scriptures, and is the progress proper or not. It is not to say that because I'm progressing, I'm a superior person. Then ego has come into play. Otherwise, the evaluation per se, there's nothing wrong. Because as long as I don't realize Brahman, there is an entity here. That entity only is going to evaluate the progress of itself. Only thing that progress should not make that entity inflate the ego. It should be a functional judgment. Okay, I have progressed in this much. Because otherwise there's no other method. And there will be people around us also who will notice the change.
Swamiji, that has happened because so many people around me, they have started telling me that there is so much of a difference within that, which I couldn't notice earlier. Now they have started telling me this, then I have realized that maybe there is some change in my behavior or in my personality. Correct. But still sometimes I feel that my ego should not just, get inflated in all this. Correct. By... Yeah,
that caution is very important, that alertness is important, and that's why the bhakti anchoring becomes important. If every day I'm saying, Bhagwan, all this is by your grace, I am only your instrument, I am nobody, then it is all in check, no problem.